people who aren't able to take advantage of the opportunities that you were able to take advantage of, simply because of the color of your skin.
So you got the Model S, you got the Model X.
Oh, yeah.
You've just trademarked the Model E and the Model Y.
So, yeah, obviously we just trademarked sexy.
Tesla released it to promote the self-driving technology. Well, now it appears that the video was a sham.
He faced a hostile work environment.
When I was working at Tesla, my experience on the line being called the N-word.
When you've got over 100 people who have said they've been called the N-word at the Tesla factory, that's pretty overwhelming evidence that there's a problem there.
We just want to be just treated and seen as equal human beings.
Tesla is now facing its second lawsuit in less than a month, alleging a hostile work environment against women, continuous and pervasive sexual harassment.
Some employees say that Tesla is putting its product over its people.
Non-stop running a marathon, I'm burned out. Everybody in our area is burned out.
The rate of serious injuries were about double the industry rate.
They laid me off at 2 a.m.
What percentage of your staff did you fire at Twitter?
We're about 20% of the original size.
We're all about to get fired.
Selling a flamethrower, the liabilities.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea. I lost my son, essentially. Your son is dead. Killed by the woke mind virus.
What's it like to date the world's richest man?
It all happened very fast. I was 22.
I'd probably have said yes to anyone that seemed half sensible. I've been so many times like, right, I'm getting on a plane to England and I'm never going to see you.
Really?
No. No, not really.
Let's get into it. The holidays are all about giving, but don't forget to give yourself the gift of good health. With ZocDoc, finding the right doctor is as easy as unwrapping a present. ZocDoc is the free app that lets you search for in-network doctors and instantly book appointments. From dermatologists to therapists, ZocDoc has over 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty. Most appointments happen within 24 to 72 hours, so you can get the care you need fast. Don't wait, visit ZocDoc.com/Sloan to find your next doctor. That's ZocDoc.com/Sloan. Welcome back to the Let's Get Into It podcast. Today we're diving into one of the most polarizing figures of our time. That is Elon Musk. From revolutionizing technology with Tesla and SpaceX to stirring up chaos with his controversial tweets and shocking business decisions, Elon has built a legacy that's as fascinating as it is divisive. But beyond the headlines and the hype, who is Elon Musk? We're going to cover where he came from, his rise to fame, and some of his worst moments. I'm fascinated by this man because he is revolutionizing our society, whether we want it or not. We see his cars driving on the road. We see the rockets shooting up into space. Whether you like him or not, there's no denying that he's got a major impact on our day-to-day lives. And now that he's best friends with the future president, it looks like his impact is going to be even more intense than ever before. I want you guys to really understand who Elon is, so let's start from the beginning. Now, he was born in Pretoria, South Africa. Elon showed his talents for business early, going door to door with his brother selling homemade chocolate Easter eggs. That actually reminds me of me and my friends when I was a kid. We would go knock door to door just trying to make things to sell, which, you got that business mindset. But Elon was built different. He developed his own video game by the age of 12. Keep in mind, at the time of filming this episode, he is 53 years old. So being 12 and creating a video game is very different at his age than someone in 2024 with all the advancements we've had in technology. While his talents were able to thrive as a kid, he described his childhood as difficult, saying that his parents' divorce really affected him and he was bullied at school. He also shares that he has Asperger's syndrome, which I don't think is technically recognized anymore. It's a form of autism. Now I believe autism is a spectrum. Elon claims because of this Asperger's syndrome, he had a difficult time communicating with people at school. So he was pretty much a loner.
Where I grew up was extremely violent. I never started a fight, except with my brother, actually. One exception. I did beat my brother up, which that's just how, I don't know, that's how it goes. South Africa, when I was growing up, was just an inherently very violent place. I got punched in the face many times. I almost got beaten to death once. So, many times. And I think if you have not been punched in the face with a fist, you have no idea what it's like.
Now, in a 2010 essay for Mary Claire, his first wife, Justine Musk, a writer who he met in college and married in 2000, wrote that even before making his millions, that Elon was not a man who takes no for an answer. Quote, the will to compete and dominate that made him so successful in business. It did not magically shut off when he came home. She recalled that he told her while dancing at their wedding, quote, I'm the alpha in this relationship. Oh, a little bit toxic masculine right here. Now, because Elon did so well in high school, he got into a bunch of Ivy programs, and he ended up going to Stanford, where he ended up dropping out because he realized there was a technology boom and he wanted to jump into business. He founded 2 technology startups. These included a web software firm and an online banking company that eventually became PayPal. Because he made all of that money from PayPal, he used this fortune to invest in a rocket company, SpaceX, which he aimed to make cost-effective alternatives to NASA, and a new electric car company, Tesla. Now, while these 2 have been successful businesses, they've also come close to financial collapse. In October 2022, we all know that he purchased Twitter, which is now X, and I have a hard time calling it X, but he's done a lot to Twitter, formerly Twitter. He's dramatically reduced the size of its workforce, including cuts to teams responsible for keeping the platform safe. He rebranded the company, of course, X, and introduced a new premium subscription, which, comment below, do you guys use X? I'm not too active on there. I'm on everything else, though. Even though Elon made a lot of changes to Twitter, it actually didn't help the business. It hurt it. The company was valued at about $44 billion, and then it dropped to 19, less than half of that. And now I see there's like a Twitter alternative, Blue Sky, which, have you guys heard of that as well? I downloaded the app, but again, I'm not big on Twitter, so I'm not going to be over here writing paragraphs on Blue Sky either. Author Ashley Vance described Elon as a controversial know-it-all, and he has an abundant ego. Ashley also called him an awkward dancer and a diffident public speaker. In the press, he's been dubbed both a mad genius and Twitter's biggest troll. Elon has been divorced 3 times, which we will get into detail about. Elon was quoted saying, if you list my sins, I sound like the worst person on earth. But if you put those against the things I've done right, it makes much more sense. Interesting. I wonder how much wrong he's actually done. It's a little bit cryptic because, I mean, he's done a lot of good, so I wonder how much bad he's actually done.
Are you sincerely trying to save the world?
Well, I'm trying to do good things, yeah. I mean, saving the world is not I mean...
But you're trying to do good things and you're a billionaire. I mean,
yeah.
That seems a little bit like either superhero or supervillain. You have to choose one.
I'm trying to do useful things. I mean, yeah.
Now we're going to break down this episode into segments. I think that's the best way to go ahead and explain how Elon has been problematic, starting off with Tesla. Now, there was evidence brought against Elon and Tesla that they had known that their autopilot system was faulty, but still let cars run. Car accidents are some of my biggest fears because they can be so dangerous. And now with this new technology of batteries and self-driving cars, I just feel like the accidents can be so much worse. I mean, I know gasoline, catches on fire, but imagine those batteries within a Tesla. Those things will explode. This article writes that Elon is facing another legal headache over Tesla's autopilot. A Florida judge said there was reasonable evidence to conclude that Elon and their executives knew that their automated driving system was defective, but then they allowed the public to go and use it anyways. Almost like they're going to use us as their trial, like their guinea pig. Just go ahead and just let the customers try it out and see if anyone dies. Now, in 2019, there was a lawsuit against Tesla over the death of Jeremy Banner. Jeremy was killed in 2019 when his Tesla Model 3 drove under a tractor trailer while in autopilot, essentially shearing off the top of the car and killing him. His family accused Tesla of gross negligence and intentional misconduct. The court found that Tanner's death was very similar to a 2016 crash that killed Joshua Brown. Both of these failed to detect crossing trucks, and as a result, Tesla would have been aware of this issue because of the crash that happened 3 years prior, which is so scary. Imagine, like, I guess the Tesla's so low and these trucks are high, so they just go right under. It sounds like a bad roller coaster accident. The judge stressed that there was only enough evidence to suggest that it was reasonable to say that Elon and other executives have been aware of these faulty issues. In 2016, the same year that this autopilot feature killed Joshua, Elon was saying that the autopilot feature was probably better than a human driver, and that autonomous driving was basically a solved problem. This statement was made after Joshua Brown was killed. And I think there's a strategy here. It's not just his own ego that can't allow him to accept that he's wrong, but he's also thinking about those investors. Tesla has also been criticized for a marketing video released in 2016, which showed an autopilot-equipped vehicle navigating a city and claimed the car was driving itself, which it looks like this video was staged, and that's pretty scary. Imagine selling someone a machine that can kill other people, and you're showing them videos claiming that the product does this when it in fact does not.
Do you remember this video from 2016? Tesla released it to promote the self-driving technology it was developing. Well, now it appears that the video was a sham. The video begins with the tagline, "The person in the driver's seat is only there for legal reasons. He is not doing anything. The car is driving itself." But according to a Tesla engineer's testimony, the car used 3D mapping on a predetermined route from a Californian house to Tesla's then headquarters in Palo Alto. The engineer revealed that during filming, the drivers had to intervene in test runs, and when trying to show that the Model X could park by itself, the car actually crashed into a fence.
The Washington Post reported that there had been 736 crashes involving Tesla's autopilot since 2019, with 17 people dying. Shoot, I mean, these Tesla cars seem like they're just killing machines. So not only are the customers at risk when they invest in Tesla, but the workers have a hostile work environment. Now, our story begins with a woman named Andrea. She's 36 years old and a hairdresser. She decided to go and get another job because she wanted extra money for Christmas. So she decided to work on the floor of Tesla's auto manufacturing facility. She was located in California, and it looks like this job paid about $20 an hour, so she'll take it. Andrea's grandparents had actually worked at the same building when it was making cars for General Motors, so she knew what working on an assembly line would be like. And Andrea had no problem with the hard work. After watching her grandparents work the assembly line, she knew what she was getting into, but she didn't know that she was going to be up for harassment. She also claims racism and constant disrespect. Andrea is a black woman, and on her second day of training, she noticed the phrase black whoa, let's censor me. Add a note to editor. Black bitches need to go home, written on the bathroom walls. Once she started working on the line, she heard her white male lead, a person who supervised her on the floor, use the N slur and other racial slurs. He also frequently used the words bitch and see you next Tuesday. He used about every awful and offensive word that Andrea could think of. It wasn't just him, it was other white coworkers as well. She frequently saw the word bitch written on bathroom walls alongside the Insular and KKK. What the hell? Like, I feel like schools aren't even like this nowadays. What kind of environment is this? These people just go home and act racist, and then they wake up in the morning, go to work, and then continue to act racist? I can't get it. They don't have, what is going on here? It's like a cult-like feeling. And also, if she's going into the women's bathroom, does that mean the women are going in there and writing those things? Or are men going in there? Or is it like a gender neutral situation? I don't know. I need more details. But I'm not surprised to hear that Elon is a little bit ignorant when it comes to racism. Here's a little clip that kind of shows you guys what I'm talking about.
But what future do we want? Is this something we want to make part about constant dialogue forever? Or do we want to say, like, let's just move on and treat everyone according to just who they are as an individual? I think we're doing better than anywhere else.
That's true. I agree with that. But that doesn't mean a lot to a whole lot of people who aren't able to take advantage of the opportunities that you were able to take advantage of, simply because of the color of your skin.
What advantages does my color of my skin give me?
Well, there's an ease that you have in society that many people of color don't. you were able to come to this country voluntarily. There are many people who were not able to come to the country voluntarily. There are people who came here as slaves.
For me to come here.
And there is a legacy of slavery that still continues on. There's a legacy of racism that still continues on in this country. That's undeniable.
Well, if we keep talking about it nonstop, it will never go away.
So I don't think Elon really gets it. Andrea claimed that she liked to wear layers to work, dressing like a tomboy. Her lead and another co-worker started making comments about her being gay, harassing her for her appearance. Andrea had never experienced anything like this in a workplace before. She said, "Never. Every day I had to show up to work. It was difficult for me. It was a hard walk into the factory knowing the treatment I was going to face." In late 2020, she sent Tesla's Human Resources Department a complaint laying out everything, how her lead is making these nasty comments about race and harassing her about her sexuality. The company did not address the issue. It actually seems like the Human Resources Department did the complete opposite of what they were supposed to do. They probably went and casually told them, "Hey, Andrea put in a report against you." And the men seemed angry after the complaint. They really started harassing her. One day when she got angry at them, her lead moved her to a new line assignment in a place where he knew I wasn't tall enough. She said at her new station, a car would come down the line and she only had a few minutes to install the floor and seats before the next car would arrive. Andrea, who's 5 feet tall, wasn't able to reach inside, so she had to climb inside the car. She protested that she couldn't safely do the work, but was ignored. Rushing to install the necessary components, she nearly fell out of the door, catching herself but breaking her wrist in the process. Andrea was sent to an on-site urgent care facility where she said she was given over-the-counter pain reliever and a hand brace and sent back to the line. Her lead told her that if she didn't keep doing the same task, he would fire her black ass. Oh no. I mean, my heart goes out to Andrea because no one should feel that kind of way and be spoken to in that way. Honestly, in that moment, if I was in that room and I heard him say any of these things, but even the fire your black ass, like, just knowing me, I'm crazy, guys. I'm impulsive. Like, I'm already getting worked up thinking about what I would do. I would lunge. In February 2021, she had enough. With around 10 other women she had been hired with, she walked out, never to return. She said, "I felt like I was kind of letting my grandmother down," saying it was devastating financially, but it was better to have her sanity. Dozens of black workers have alleged racism is not only rampant at Tesla, but tolerated. At least a dozen women have described a work environment thick with these complaints of inappropriate touching and catcalls. Cars zip down the line at dangerous speeds, forcing them to piece cars together at a breakneck pace, which that makes me concerned, because if they are rushing when it comes to the autopilot, so the brain of the car, and they're also rushing when it comes to the structure of the car, is it a really great product to even buy? I think that it starts at the top, that Elon Musk, he thinks a certain way, a little bit pervy. I mean, if you guys look at the Tesla models, you'll see that the S, the E, the X, the Y model, it all spells out sexy. Because this guy just can't do anything without a little bit of creepiness.
But no one seems to have noticed the product lineup. So you got the Model S, you got the Model X.
Oh yeah.
You've just trademarked the Model E.
Yeah.
No one's said anything.
You gotta,
and the Model the Model Y.
Yeah.
Now, what's behind this?
I know exactly. Well, I guess there's not a lot of humor in the trademark law, Because obviously we just trademarked sexy, so it was just a joke.
And while it might be a joke, I think it speaks to, again, the kind of climate, the culture at Tesla. Now, in 2016, AJ, a former engineer, actually sued the company for ignoring her complaints of harassment, then passing her over for promotions and paying her less than male coworkers. 7 former employees have accused SpaceX and other Elon-run companies of failing to promote women and permitting sexual harassment. Another employee, Michelle, recently sued the company for paying her less than her male coworkers, refusing to promote her, and retaliating after she reported that her manager forced her into a quid pro quo sexual relationship. But it seems like a lot of the racism and harassment happens on Tesla's factory floor, where Elon has taken an especially hands-on approach there, claiming to have frequently slept overnight at the factory, the same factory that she would have been working at. In 2018, a former safety expert said that leaders at the factory avoided demarcating dangerous areas with yellow because Elon doesn't like that color. Quote, Musk's name was often invoked just to justify shortcuts or to shoot down concerns. So if there's a slip on the floor or there's a dangerous area to be, they're not going to put up caution tape because Elon doesn't like it. It kind of reminds me of how like people like Kanye West or Diddy operate. And their minions will go and do whatever they want because they know what their boss wants and how to please them, and they want to climb that ladder. Now, Jermaine decided to go and work at Tesla in September 2018 because he had twins born and he needed more than just $15 an hour that he was getting at his construction company. So he got a job at the factory for $23 an hour, saying it was a big difference for him. But a few months in, his supervisor started calling him boy. Then Jermaine heard his white co-workers using the slur and calling people monkey. There was a swastika drawn with a black marker near where he clocked in to work every day. Black workers, he said, were made to do things like clean up the work area when the assembly line was slow, and the white people weren't. He said it was just awful. When he said something to his supervisor, he was told to put his head down so he wouldn't get fired. Now, this kind of treatment to their employees makes me question what Elon believes, if he in his heart could be racist. I mean, at this point, the employees' treatment and the lack of repercussions for these bad employees, it looks like he's okay with it. Jermaine said, I wanted to quit, but I couldn't quit because I had to take care of my family. Instead, he started missing days of work. That meant foregoing income, forcing him to borrow money from his mother. Okay, Jermaine, I mean, at this point, just go ahead and get another job. You don't need to go and take your mom's money. Here's another employee who is giving his testimony of what he experienced while working at Tesla.
When I was working at Tesla, my experience on the line being called the N-word, different people call me the N-word, not just workers, there were actually managers or supervisors and stuff like that on the line. Where I come from, you know, you just don't do that at work. It's not a place to be called that.
When you've got over 100 people who have said they've been called the N-word at the Tesla factory in Fremont, that's pretty overwhelming evidence that there's a problem there.
When I wrote Elon Musk a letter explaining what was going on the line, I never heard back from him, but probably a few weeks after that, I ended up getting let go. For no reason. I got let go for not having a positive attitude. After Tesla, it was hard for me to find a job that could pay my bills. I feel like if more people start coming out about things like this, then things will start to change.
When it comes to the Fairmont location, this facility, there are actually tents set up in the back because they have so much production, they can't expand in time, so they put out tents. And there is a common theme where a lot of the black workers are sent off to the tents or they're given the hardest work. And the racism is so apparent there that not only do we have all of these stories to go off of, but there have been lawsuits and the workers, the employees, they've won. Like Moses started working on the factory floor in January 2020 to get his foot in the door, but he said it was like a Jim Crow situation. He said one day someone spray painted a swastika in the parking lot in a conspicuous spot. Moses said he never saw anyone at the company ever clean it away or paint it over. He said that just made me sick. I said I don't care how big this company is or what they're offering, this does not meet my moral standards. And it doesn't seem like they're learning their lesson. A jury ordered the company to pay a former employee Owen $3.2 million after it found that the company had created a hostile work environment by failing to address racism on the job. In addition to these lawsuits, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has sued the company for allowing this harassment at its plant and retaliating against those who have complained. Owen took Tesla to court and he won. Here's a little clip of Owen explaining what he had gone through.
We just want to be just treated and seen as equal human beings.
Owen Diaz, who was hired through a staffing agency in 2015 as an elevator operator at Tesla's factory in Fremont, told the court he faced a hostile work environment.
They decided not to follow through. They decided to kill investigations. You know, you can't keep treating workers like this. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. They have to choose to take the abuse that these billion-dollar companies are putting out or feed their families.
Let's move on to another victim of Tesla's. Tiana Turner was hired for work in November 2020. She was 18 at the time and she was persistently sexually harassed. She claimed she was hit on approximately 100 times by her coworkers who commented on her appearance, invited her over to their homes and made noises at her and even stalked her. Several months into her job, she complained to her supervisor who said that's just how people are. In January 2020, a coworker began harassing her for months, asking her to come to his apartment, commenting on her clothes and weight and following her around and staring at her even after she told him to leave her alone. She finally complained to her supervisors in September, and she was fired the same evening. And guess what their reasoning was? They said that you're fired because you don't meet our integrity standards. Is integrity in the room with us right now? And her experience wasn't an isolated one. In 10 legal complaints, there have been a ton of mentions and victims of Tesla factories. Out of the 21% of women that work at Tesla, 17% of them are actually experiencing harassment. So most women, which I just can't believe that the company is able to consistently get away with this, both women and Black people. Jessica needed money to support her 2 sons and thought working at Tesla would help. She took the job in October 2018. Almost every day she heard male coworkers, including supervisors, making comments like, "Look at those titties, she has a fat ass," and "Go ahead, sexy." She then started to get text messages from her lead saying, "I just think you're sexy as F. I've always had a crush on your fine ass," and he even brushed up against her groin at some point. She reported the behavior to HR, but they didn't do anything to stop it. In September 2021, according to her complaint, she felt a man put his leg between hers as she was clocking out. That incident led to a panic attack. She ended up going on medical leave and was ultimately fired. Now, in November 2020, Elise Brown had a 3-month-old baby. She said in a legal complaint that a male coworker called her a cow and said that she was milking because she was breastfeeding. Makala Karan, who was 18 when she started working at Tesla, said it was her first job out of high school, and that her complaint was that her supervisor told her that she had a big butt and tried to slap it within her first few weeks. A coworker even asked her to give him a hand job in the parking lot at some point. Who are these men? Ew. Now you guys are probably questioning, how does Tesla respond to this? I mean, at this point, why haven't they closed that factory? Tesla has decided to respond by filing statements from supervisors and coworkers who claim they have never seen or heard any harassment, saying that these are our fine employees. They say they've never seen anything, and if they did, they would report it. Yet those are probably the same people who are harassing.
Tesla is now facing its second lawsuit in less than a month, alleging a hostile work environment against women at the carmaker's Fremont factory. Tesla assembly line worker Erica Cloud filed the lawsuit this week, accusing her former manager of continuous and pervasive sexual harassment. She alleges the manager hugged and massaged her while making crude and suggestive remarks, and says she's now experiencing retaliation from other managers. Last month, another female Tesla worker filed a lawsuit alleging sexual harassment at the factory.
The holidays are a whirlwind of gift-giving, family time, and celebration, but let's talk about the gift you deserve, your health. With ZocDoc, finding the right doctor has never been easier. ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you search for top-rated in-network doctors in your area. Whether you need a dermatologist, a dentist, or a therapist, ZocDoc connects you with over 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty. Here's how it works. You can filter by insurance, location, and appointment availability. Once you found the right doctor, you can instantly book the appointment in just a few clicks. No phone calls, no waiting rooms, no hassle. Most appointments happen within 24 to 72 hours. And yes, you could even find some same-day openings. They are taking the headache out of healthcare and giving you control again. Trust me, guys, ZocDoc has changed my experience when going to any doctor of any kind. This holiday season, give yourself the gift of good health. Go to ZocDoc.com/Sloan to find and book your next doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Sloan, because your health is the best gift of all. On top of a lot of these employees being harassed and degraded, they're also getting hurt on the job. We've talked about some of these people, like Tayona. She claims that she got a concussion, a wrist strain from repetitive motion, a damaged knee and thigh from when a car backed into her. Albert Blakes, who started working at the factory in 2019, said that in a legal complaint that he had racial discrimination accompanied by an injured hand because of the physically demanding work. Moses, a former employee who we've spoken about, said that the cars came down the line so quickly that the workers didn't always clean up the tools and the debris. It was so fast that you would ultimately put yourself at risk every time. Between the years January 2019 and February 2024, it looks like Tesla has had over over 80 violations related to manufacturing. Now, every time Tesla is fined for breaking these rules, but it's not that much money, so they just continue doing it again and again. It's not going to stop them and make them reconsider safety protocol. This article reports that ambulances have been called more than 100 times since 2014 for workers experiencing fainting spells, dizziness, seizures, abnormal breathing, and chest pains. Hundreds more were called for injuries and other medical issues. Elon did respond to these claims, and he conceded that his workers have been having a hard time working long hours and on hard jobs, but he said he cared deeply about their health and well-being. Well, then why the hell is all of this happening? Two things can't be true at once, not in this case.
Some employees say that Tesla is putting its product over its people, and some new numbers by a workplace safety nonprofit appear to back that up. The nonprofit is called WorkSafe. It says that injuries at the Fremont factory were 31% higher than the industry average in 2015, and that the rate of serious injuries were about double the industry rate. Some Tesla employees we've heard from say they were worked to exhaustion.
And it was literally like 4 of us doing a 6-man job, nonstop running a marathon. I'm burned out. Everybody in our area is burned out.
Not really reflective of the environment that you see here and that you'll hear from the rest of our employees.
Well, we did hear from a current Tesla factory worker who wanted to remain anonymous, but he said, do I see unsafe practices? Yes. However, he says Tesla aren't tolerating unsafe practices anymore.
Now, Elon must not be spending enough time in the factory. He's probably sitting on Donald Trump's lap a little bit too long. He needs to get back down there because there are so many employees who are exhausted, collapsing, or being taken away by an EMT. Quote, we had an associate on my line. He just kept working. The next thing you know, he just fell on the ground. Michael was his name, and he had dreams to be an artist and to be a car service technician. He was ecstatic when he started to work at Tesla. He fell, and now he has 2 herniated discs in his neck. He is on disability leave from work and can no longer grip a pencil without pain. He recently lost the strength in his right arm, and the situation was scaring him, saying, I want to use my arm when I'm retired. Other employees described repetitive stress injuries that are linked to working long hours. Before the company reduced the average time of a workday in October 2016, workers said they routinely worked 12-hour shifts 6 days a week. That makes me so sad for Michael. Tesla responded saying, yeah, he hurt himself while trying to install a wheel. But at the same time, now this man's life is pretty much taken away. A production worker said that he went from making $22 an hour to $10 an hour because he injured his back twice while working at Tesla. Quote, it kind of forces people to go back to work. No one wants to get a pay cut because they're injured, so everyone forces themselves to work through it. Tesla's manufacturing practices appear to be the most dangerous in its earliest years of operation. So it looks like between the years 2013 through 2016, there were the most injuries. You guys may remember in early 2016, he said he slept on the factory floor in a sleeping bag to make it the most painful thing possible, saying that he knew his employees were having a hard time, so he was trying to make himself experience the same thing. Well, shoot, Elon, why don't you just go and work these long hours for a month and let's see how you hold up? What's so sad for a lot of these employees is that we start their story with them super excited to get this job, that they are in need of this money. And while Elon can go and sleep in a sleeping bag on the factory floor, his behavior shows his true intentions, and just letting these people go and pushing them to their max, it shows that he sees them as disposable.
Employees at Tesla were told the company will lay off over 10% of its workforce. This comes just a week before Tesla will announce its first quarter earnings, and profits have declined in the past year. Reports say the job cuts will be amounting to about 14,000 people.
Just out of the blue, they laid me off at 2 a.m., which is middle of the day for me because I was overnight shift. Just look at my phone and my Microsoft Teams logged me out. I was like, oh, okay, I probably just need to reset my password. But then I try and they said, and then it says my account was blocked. And I had like a straight up panic attack.
Your livelihood is constantly at risk. And I found a few different headlines I want to share with you guys that just paint a picture of what Tesla and SpaceX are really like. Here's a headline: Tesla workers report explosions, concussions, and grisly robot injuries at their Texas factory. Another: Tesla's ultra hardcore work culture as told by its employees. Ex-Tesla employee reveals shocking details on worker conditions. Elon Musk's ultra hardcore work environment is revealed to have led led to long hours, unsafe working conditions, and harassment for employees. Tesla broke U.S. labor law by silencing workers. No surprise. This one is from January 2023. Tesla workers afraid of denouncing the worsening of working conditions. Tesla home checks on workers on sick leave defended by boss in Germany. Wait, what? So it looks like if workers are on sick leave, that Tesla will go and check in on them to make sure they're actually sick? What? Tesla sued over warehouse employees overworked quotas and overtime. Tesla worker dies at Texas factory as feds investigate the working conditions. That happened in August 2024. Rest in peace. At SpaceX, workers' injuries soar in Elon Musk's rush to Mars. Looks like a news organization reported at least 600 unreported workplace injuries, which, wait, what? Unreported? Which include crushed limbs, amputations, electrocutions, which that really scares me, head and eye wounds, and one death. Another investigation reveals sleep deprivation, drug use amid hard working conditions at SpaceX. And of course, a former SpaceX employee files a labor law complaint against the company. Now that we've talked about two of his biggest companies, let's talk about Twitter. Elon controversially acquired Twitter for $44 billion. How do you even have that kind of money laying around? After Elon purchased Twitter, anti-Semitic and racist tweets spiked over its acquisition. Hateful rhetoric towards Black people also increased. It looks like there was a finding of a 500% increase in the use of the N slur just a half day after Elon's purchase. Now, this gets scary because he does have such a close connection to the future president. Shoot, by the time this podcast episode comes out, he might already be president. I don't know. I'm filming in advance. In December 2022, Elon bans journalists from X. Elon was told that he faced EU sanctions after he claimed a number of prominent reporters had been booted off of X for sharing personal information about him. Elon claimed the journalist in question had doxed his exact location in real time. And it's all connected to his jet because people were tracking his jet, and they do this with Taylor Swift and other celebrities to show how much they're ruining the planet through the emissions. So I do understand what Elon is saying here. He doesn't want his exact location to be out there because he doesn't want to be killed, but he later ended up putting them back onto the platform despite, I guess, risking his own well-being. He actually made this decision after putting a poll out on Twitter asking if he should let them back on. Now, after Elon initially offered to take over the company in April 2022, he attempted to get out of the deal, citing concerns over how many bot accounts it had. Essentially, they gave him a price, and then he said, hey, after taking a better look at this platform, I don't think it's worth this amount of money because a lot of these users are fake. As soon as he got to the company, he cut a lot of employees, about 80% of the people running Twitter. Elon said it's not fun at all, and it can sometimes be painful to be running Twitter. The world's second richest man said that drastic action was needed when he came on board because the company was facing a $3 billion negative cash flow situation. He said he only had about 4 months to keep Twitter alive, so that's why he started to charge everyone to use the platform. And of course, these Twitter employees are real people. Here's a video clip of some of them counting down the moments until they're fired.
30 seconds left. 35 seconds.
You have like an atomic clock?
Oh, he's got his thing. Everybody here? We're all about to get fired from Twitter. I've been here 9 years and 9 months now. Same with you. How long are you here?
4 years.
4 years?
2 months. 9 years and a month. Oh, were you not with him?
No, he was after. Wait.
Oh.
10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Yay! Hooray, that's a lot of pomp and circumstance. Okay. Yeah, let's try the badges.
Now, typically when you leave a career, you're given a severance package so that you can have some money while you try to find your next gig. Well, Elon actually was taken to court by these Twitter employees, and he beat a $500 million lawsuit that they're trying to file against him. U.S. Judge Trina in San Francisco ruled on Tuesday that the Federal Employee Retirement Income Security Act governing benefit plans did not cover these former employees. Of course, it's pretty sad that someone who has $44 billion to purchase the company couldn't cash over another $500 million just to put some ease into these people's lives. I mean, it's not like they're all super rich like he is. According to a complaint, the Twitter employee said that their 2019 severance plan called for employees who stayed on after the buyout to receive 2 to 6 months of pay. Now, on the plaintiff's side, there was Courtney, who oversaw Twitter's compensation and benefits, and Ronald, who was an operations manager, said instead of offering these employees a severance package, they just got 1 month of pay with no benefits. Now, the judge claims this act did not protect these employees because Twitter has the right to review case by case. So essentially, they were screwed.
It is the number one news source, I think, in the world at this point.
What percentage of your staff did you fire at Twitter? One of the great business stories of the year.
I think we're about 20% of the original size.
So 80% left.
Yes.
So
I mean, a lot of people voluntarily.
Sure. But it's 80% are gone from the day you took over.
That's correct. Yes.
So how do you run the company with only 20% of the staff?
It turns out you don't need that many people to run Twitter.
But 80%? That's a lot.
Yes. If you're not trying to run some sort of glorified activist organization and you don't care that much about censorship, then you can really let go of a lot of people, it turns out.
Let's move on to our next chapter within this podcast. Some other random scandals Elon's been involved in. Let's talk about his not a flamethrower. The cheeky name that Elon gave to his flamethrower hasn't convinced cops that it's not dangerous. Elon's company, The Boring Company, sold this device as a publicity stunt. I actually remember like clips of David Dobrik having one. It's like a gun that just shoots flames out. Now, the sarcastic branding did not appear amusing to authorities, who have seized hundreds of these dangerous devices. European officials have also cracked down on Elon's Spaceballs inspired fire shooters. Officials in Switzerland confiscated a bunch of them and fined 1,000 people. Now, Max Craddock was an American who was among the first 1,000 people to buy Elon's flamethrower. He nearly spent a week behind bars in Italy after he tried to board a party bus with the gadget. It seems like these weapons have also been used by drug dealers. So yeah, great, Elon. Let's replace the guns with flamethrowers. His flamethrower stunt prompted New York lawmakers to introduce a bill that make it illegal to possess this device in the state. So how much is he helping the world if the government needs to make laws to protect people from things that he creates? These damn robots are looking a little bit scarier now because what are they capable of?
Selling a flamethrower, the liabilities, all the people you're selling this device to, what kind of unhinged people are going to be buying a flamethrower in the first place? Do we really want to connect ourselves to all these potential arsonists?
Yeah, it's a terrible idea. Terrible. Shouldn't buy one. I said don't buy this flamethrower.
So obviously Elon is a ridiculous guy. I mean, let's talk about his 10 children and all of their names. Here's Sloan from earlier in the podcast to let you know he actually has 12 children now, so as of 2024. Now, Elon and Grimes, a singer, welcomed their son, who's named XAEA12. I don't even know how to say this. His name was eventually changed to remove the 12 because you cannot have a number in your name. The ex couple also had a daughter who they originally named Exa Dark Sidereal. Her name has been changed to Y or question mark. Now in 2022, another one of Elon's daughters who is transgender, they were born a male and now identify as a trans woman, illegally dropped Musk from her last name, saying she did not want to be related to her biological father in any shape or form. And there's a reason why his trans daughter doesn't want anything to do with him. Elon has made his opinions about pronouns very clear, saying that he's not a fan of identifying pronouns. At one point, Elon went as far as to say that his trans child was dead to him. Now her name is Vivian Wilson. Again, she dropped Musk from her name. Elon has been quoted saying that his son, who's now again a trans woman, was destroyed by the woke mind virus. It's pretty much what he said. Let's play a clip.
I lost my son, essentially. So, you know, they call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
all right, so the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead, killed by the woke mind virus. So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
Now, for anyone, it must be hard to have their parent speak about them in such a bad way. After the interview, Elon said that his child was born gay and slightly autistic, which He then claims that these traits contributed to gender dysphoria. Of course, Vivian hit back saying that this was entirely fake and that he wasn't part of her childhood, so how would he know? Quote, he doesn't know what I was like as a child because he simply wasn't there. Elon wrote in late 2020, I absolutely support trans, but all these pronouns are an aesthetic nightmare. In response to a tweet earlier that year, he wrote, pronouns suck. His partner at the time asked him to stop, and she said she could not support his hate. Here's a clip of Vivian speaking a little bit more about her relationship with her father.
It is Vivian Jenna Wilson. I'm just going to come on here and say that I'm doing well. I'm doing fine, actually. I'm formulating a response and whatnot. It's being worked on. It's being worked on. Just hold your goddamn horses for 5 more seconds, okay? I promise it's getting worked on.
Now, you might be confused. Elon Musk has 10 kids. I mean, I've heard about his children with Grimes, but his relationship statuses have always been complicated. That brings us to our next chapter, his dating history, his children, and his obsession with populating the earth. Whatever you do, Elon, don't bring him to LA because the traffic is bad enough. Now, we mentioned Justine Musk early in this episode. They married in the year 2000. The couple had 6 children together before divorcing in 2008. Elon went on to marry English actress Tallulah Riley in 2010, but they later divorced and remarried again. Their second divorce was finalized in 2016. He has also been linked to actress Amber Heard and, of course, singer Grimes. Keep in mind that he and Grimes have 3 children together. He also fathered twins with Neuralink executive Siobhan in November 2021, just weeks before his second baby with Grimes was born. So he is messy as hell. Elon then welcomed a 3rd child with Zillis in early 2024. Now the father of 12, oh shit, correct the record early in the podcast. Elon says he's doing a good thing, doing his best to help the underpopulation crisis. A collapsing birth rate is the biggest danger civilization faces by far. Now, I want to go a little bit further back in time, even before Justine Musk. In the mid-90s, Elon met Jennifer Gwynn while they were both students at the University of Pennsylvania. Jennifer later told People that she was attracted to Elon's quiet intensity. The couple dated for about a year, but during that time, they were serious enough to introduce each other to their families. Elon even gifted Jennifer a gold and emerald necklace for her birthday. Shortly after Jennifer returned from studying abroad, she and Elon called it quits. Jennifer explained that Elon was not very good at long-distance relationships, and talking on the phone seemed like a waste of time to him. Interestingly enough, in 2022, Jennifer auctioned off items from their time together, including several photos and a handwritten card to help pay for her stepson's college tuition. Ahead of the auction, she recalled that her time dating Elon was amazing.
What's it like to date the world's richest man? Elon Musk's college sweetheart has never talked until now. She told Anne Mercogliano what Musk was like before he conquered the world.
They're never-before-seen photos of a baby-faced Elon Musk, long before becoming the richest man in the world.
He was my type, tall, blonde, and nerdy. He was sweet, he was kind, he was smart, he was engaging. He was not into, PDA in public, not a big hand holder. He would talk about electric cars. He would talk about alternate fuel sources.
He was talking about building the future.
Absolutely.
Now that brings us to his relationship with Justine. Now I think this is by far Elon's most serious relationship to date. They first met when they were studying at Queen's University in Canada. At the time, Justine was a freshman and Elon was a sophomore. She shares that he invited me out for an ice cream. I said yes, but then I blew him off with a note on my dorm room door. Several hours later, my head bent over my Spanish textbook in an overheated room in the student center. I heard a polite cough behind me and Elon was smiling awkwardly with 2 chocolate chip ice cream cones dripping down his hands. He's not a man who takes no for an answer. Although Elon transferred schools, he continued to pursue Justine. However, they split before Justine moved to Japan for a year, which, oh my gosh, I leave to Japan tomorrow. I'm so scared. A week after she returned home to Canada, he happened to call her. Justine moved to California to be with him. They were engaged and in 2000, they got married. Looking back on their relationship, Justine acknowledges that there were some warning signs and there were comments about Elon being this alpha. She claims that Elon's judgment always overruled her own. He was constantly making remarks about how she was lacking. At one point, she said, "I'm your wife. I'm not your employee. If you were my employee," he said, "I would fire you. So imagine having your husband tell you that he would fire you. In 2002, they welcomed their first child together, Nevada Alexander, who died at just 10 weeks old. Justine shared that the couple grieved in vastly different ways, but decided to get pregnant again as soon as possible. They welcomed twins in 2004, and then a set of triplets in 2006, so they were quick with it. Justine recalled that they had a different dream lifestyle filled with extravagant events, multi-million-dollar homes, and a staff that catered all their needs. However, she felt a lack of intimacy and empathy from Elon. She wrote that a car accident served as a wake-up call for her. She said, "I barely recognized myself. I had to turn into a trophy wife." After that accident, the couple tried counseling, but just after a month, Elon gave her an ultimatum to live the life as they had or to get a divorce. He filed for divorce the next day. Following their 2008 split, the couple went through a complicated divorce, ending with shared custody of their 5 children. Here's a clip of Justine sharing how bad it really got.
We were seeing a marital therapist, and I think he just got tired of the stress and the uncertainty of it. And the next day, I went into my therapist's office, and he had left a message for her to tell me that he was filing for divorce. So that was how I found out. One of the more memorable moments of my life, yeah.
Now let's talk about Tallulah Riley. Shortly after Elon filed for divorce from Justine, he met actress Tallulah Riley. Tallulah shares, "I remember thinking at this bar with Elon that this guy probably didn't get to talk to young actresses a lot and that he seemed quite nervous. I decided to be really nice to him and give him a nice evening. Little did I know that he had spoken to a lot of pretty girls in his life." Just 6 weeks after Elon filed for divorce from Justine, he was engaged. Tallulah moved to LA and they tied the knot in Scotland in 2010. Elon filed for divorce just 2 years later. Here's a clip of the couple talking a little bit about their relationship dynamics.
It all happened very fast. We were engaged after, I think, sort of two weeks of knowing each other, and I was 22, and there were all these boys, and it was which was the best part. And it was fast, and then we were in it.
You knew each other 2 weeks before you got engaged?
Something like that.
What was so attractive?
Oh, he was very charming and definitely the most interesting and eccentric person I have ever met.
But wait, their relationship did not end there. They divorced, but then in 2013, they got married again. Elon filed for divorce again in 2014, but withdrew the petition 7 months later. In 2016, that's when Tallulah filed for divorce and it was finalized. She told The Independent that she knew it was strange to marry and then divorce someone twice. She said, "I suppose the reason to get married again was because it felt silly to be together unmarried after being married in the past." I get that because you are used to saying, "Oh, this is my husband," but then now you have to remember that he's not actually your husband anymore.
At 38, Elon's running SpaceX and Tesla. He's got 5 boys, he's going through a very public divorce, and he's got a new fiancée.
I don't know how he handles the stress. I mean, if I say I might have died of a heart attack, you would not wish that kind of pain on your worst enemy. The idea of being swept off your feet is appealing, and I'd probably have said yes to anyone that seemed half sensible if they proposed after 10 days, just because it's kind of an interesting thing to do. Obviously, we moved straight into the house with the children, and it became a very real thing immediately. My parents were traumatized by this whole experience. Although there's been so many times that, right, I'm getting on a plane to England and I'm never going to see you again. Really? No. No, not really.
Now, I didn't realize that Elon had a relationship with Amber Heard. Once he and Tallulah separated in 2012, he reached out to director Robert Rodriguez, asking him to set up a dinner for him and Amber Heard. Now, a dinner was arranged, but Amber was dating Johnny Depp, so she didn't show up. It would actually be several years before they connected, although exactly when their relationship turned romantic is unclear. Johnny Depp claimed in court papers in his 2022 defamation trial against Amber Heard that Elon and Amber secretly began dating in 2015. Amber said in court that she was not acquainted with Elon until after the 2016 Met Gala. Amber said during trial, "I didn't recognize Elon Musk until we started talking and he reminded me we had met once before. He seemed like a real gentleman. He was nice. He sat nearby the table. We got speaking that night and eventually became friends." Amber filed for divorce from Johnny a few weeks later, and in July 2016, she and Elon started sparking romance rumors. In 2017, they made it Instagram official with a trip to Australia. A month later, insiders shared that the couple were very serious about each other. But by August 2017, a few months later, they called it quits. Sources told people that their busy schedules were to blame for the split, which was allegedly initiated by Elon. Elon wrote on social media media, although Amber and I did break up, we are still friends, remain close, and love one another. Long distance relationships, when both partners have intense work obligations, are always difficult, which, keep in mind, his first girlfriend did say he was bad at long distance. Now, I don't know how Elon handled Amber Heard, especially after learning about the Johnny Depp trial, but he did describe their relationship as brutal.
Elon Musk reflects on what he calls his brutal relationship with Amber Heard. For how Elon sums up their romance, he says simply, it was brutal. Musk's brother Kimball describes Amber as, quote, toxic and a nightmare in the book. Kimball adds that Elon tends to fall for people who are, quote, beautiful, no question, but they have a very dark side. As for the billionaire mogul's response to that, he tells Isaacson, I am often a fool, but especially for love. After he and Amber called it quits for good in 2017, Elon recalls enduring 18 months of unrelenting insanity that was mind-bogglingly painful.
Thankfully, Elon did survive Amber Heard, which brought him to Grimes. In April 2018, Elon sparked dating rumors with musician Grimes after they shared a flirty interaction on Twitter. Just a few days later, the couple made their red carpet debut at the Met Gala. In August 2018, the couple unfollowed each other on social media, leading to speculation they had broken up. Despite the split rumors, Elon and Grimes were spotted in October at a pumpkin patch in LA with his children. In December 2019, Kim Kardashian included the pair in a group photo with their Christmas party event. And in January 2020, Grimes announced that she was pregnant and Elon was the baby's daddy. In May 2020, they went viral for announcing their child's name, XEAE12-12. It's confusing. How do you even pronounce this? The couple made a joint appearance on Saturday Night Live in May 2021, though they had semi-separated by September of that same year.
So what happened with Grimes, and do you have a new girlfriend?
You know, Grimes and I are, let's say, like semi-separated, you know, like it's just that her work has her just being in different places a lot versus my work. Yeah. We, you know, weren't seeing each other that much. Yeah, we're still good friends, and right. I do not have a new girlfriend or anything.
Now, despite them being semi-separated, they welcomed their second baby together through a surrogate in December 2021. 3 months after their baby was born, she announced that they were, in fact, back together, and their baby girl's name was Y. She shares a little bit more about their relationship, saying there's no real word for it. I'd probably refer to him as my boyfriend, but we're very fluid. We live in separate houses. We're best friends. We see each other all the time. We have our own thing going on, and I don't expect other people to understand it. On the same day Vanity Fair published the story, Grimes shared that the couple's relationship status had changed since the interview. She tweeted that me and Elon have broken up again since the writing of this article, but he's my best friend and the love of my life and art are forever dedicated to the mission now. Ooh, what's the mission?
We are becoming cyborgs. Like, our brains are fundamentally changed. Everyone who grew up with electronics, we are fundamentally different from Homo sapiens. I call us Homo techno. So it like allows for actual evolution. Like the computers accelerate the degree to which all the other technologies can also be accelerated.
You guys can tell that Grimes is just his type, but so is Siobhan, also a colleague. In July 2022, Insider reported that Elon had fathered twins with Siobhan, who's an executive at his company, Neuralink. While the parents were originally secretive about the baby names, Insider acquired Texas court documents that showed the pair had requested that the infants have their father's last name and contain their mother's last name as part of their middle name. The twins' names is Strider and Azure. Elon addressed the situation on Twitter, saying, "Doing my best to help the underpopulation crisis." So I guess him getting his coworker or his executive of his company pregnant was just part of his plan. But also with the power dynamic, the inappropriateness, it's next level. I mean, Chevron claims that she was never romantically involved with Elon and that the twins were conceived through IVF. What the hell? The twins were born just weeks before Elon welcomed Y with Grimes. So wait, why does this woman, Chevron, why does she want to have a baby with her boss? In June 2024, Elon confirmed that he and his executive welcomed their third child together. So they're just popping out more and more kids. And he needs somewhere to store all of these children. So in October 2024, this report came out that Elon, dad of 11, buys a $35 million secret luxury compound for his children. It looks like these two properties are located in Texas, and there's plenty of room. 2 of his baby mamas decided to move in. It's really a full-blown estate for him to go and just keep populating kids. Here's a clip of what they're working with.
Bocce ball, mini golf, playground, the boring bodega. We are at Elon Musk's compound in Bastrop. This is SpaceX. Twitter or X is going in behind that building. This is the Boring Company. Right there. And Elon's compound is somewhere in there too. He is just building and building and building. There's a sign that says SpaceX right there. Wow. Neat place.
It's quite impressive, but Elon is determined to go and repopulate the world. According to the Times, Elon went as far as to offer his sperm to friends and acquaintances, including this woman named Nicole, who's the ex-wife of Google's co-founder. It looks like Siobhan, the Neuralink executive and mother of his 3 children, was inseminated with his sperm through fertilization. I wonder if she's even taking care of these kids, but she did move into the compound. Wait. This compound is starting to sound more like a cult. It looks like Grimes isn't moving in because she is currently in a custody dispute with Elon, and I don't think Justine Musk is rushing to move in either. In summer 2023, Elon had been living with Grimes in a home in Austin. According to the Times, Elon wanted to buy the property next door so he could create a private compound, but it looks like he decided to bring it to another part of Texas. Grimes and him had a falling out, and it looks like it's because of his relationship with Siobhan. While they're claiming it's not romantic, it's a little bit weird that he keeps getting this woman pregnant. Also, Elon offered his sperm up to his executive without even telling Grimes, so that's pretty effed up. The singer was further alienated by the fact that Elon gave one of his girls birthed by Siobhan the name Valkyrie, which was reportedly the name that the mogul and Grimes picked out for their daughter. Siobhan ended up changing the daughter's name, while Grimes chose a different name for a child as well. Grimes wrote, "A girl cursed with my daughter's name will now carry her mother's shame." Despite Grimes having a wake-up call and realizing that she doesn't want to be in this polygamy relationship with Siobhan, she's left. She's out of Texas and she's fighting this man for her children so they don't live in this environment. I have an episode about the sister wives that will be coming out, about Cody Brown, that TLC show, The Polygamist, and how messy all of that is, and that's kind of reminding me of this situation. This was a long episode, so if you guys enjoyed, please go and rate it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Make sure you leave a comment below. I love you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.